Bob Donner with Freedom Manufacturing and Controls.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us here at the Energy Expo and Symposium out of Gillette, Wyoming, and I appreciate you coming by today. Talk to me a little bit about what you guys do in the oil and gas industry.
Freedom Manufacturing is a custom manufacturer in the oil field industry. We do a lot with pipe handlers, lay-down units, wranglers, closing units, a lot of electronic-based hydraulics and controls. We've been, my partner is a third-generation pipeliner, second-generation myself into the oil industry. So we've watched the ups and downs over the years and seen the need of a new product, hopefully safer and more advanced than the competitor.
Innovation, new products, the essence of capitalism, that seems to shine in the energy industry. You second generation, you said. Talk to me about that essence of capitalism. Did you appreciate that growing up, or did you find that appreciation later now that you're in the industry?
Do
you have an appreciation for it, I guess?
Oh, absolutely.
That was my first. I took it for granted you did, so sorry. I should let you answer that first.
Go ahead. I mean, we're lucky enough to be able to be into the industry, and as it's changing, I mean, ever so quickly, and we feel that our company actually is probably we keep up with the changing of the times. That's what it's all about. Our customers are companies that we work one-on-one with, develop the best product that we can provide for them, which takes us it makes us unique and takes us over any of the other companies, because we work so closely with the customers and design exactly what they want, and hopefully we give them that product and it advances there. We work with these service companies, and it allows them to be able to maintain the level of rental or whatever they're doing, that pricing increase, because they're offering their customers an advanced product.
Who is your customer? Sometimes it's strictly just people that are operators. Sometimes it's people in the midstream. Sometimes it's all the above. Manufacturing, I imagine it's whoever's going to do business with you, but I don't know, you might have a micro niche or something like that. So just who is your customer?
We go from the main drilling all the way down, fracking, service, derrick, companies, water line. It really doesn't matter. We've worked pretty close with, as long as it's within the oil industry, and we're not excluding wind, oil, water. It really doesn't matter. So the technology can be applied in so many different areas.
Well, you mentioned water, you mentioned downhole, a few things. Some people like to mention companies they work with, some people don't, confidentiality reasons, so I'll let you go whatever direction you want, but just give an idea about some of the clientele, I guess, that you're working with. If you want to mention a name, great. If not, I get it.
A lot of the stuff we do specifically for that specific customer, so I just as soon not drop some names, but we work so closely with the customer on each one and develop that specific product for them, and then a lot of times we can take that product and develop and go into a full production. So it's a pretty unique base. We really, in the last probably 16 months, have taken on such a new range of equipment and technology on the safety aspect of everything. Everything is so safety oriented right now. There's been so many incidences out there, so we've tried to go up and beyond on the safety aspect side of it. Whether it's our mobile staircase units that allow these rig hands to get on and off the platforms, quickly and safely, instead of using a man lift. We can get the whole crew off that, quickly. Something's happening. So we developed that staircase. We've developed our lay down units, to reach We have 50-foot capabilities on them, so we can actually the guys way up on the rig platforms are not having to lean over or push the pipe off. They can actually lay it right down on it. Our closing units are very easily serviceable, and the technology that we put in that with the wireless controls and the remote systems and items like that, it's just a very unique, such a wide range, and we've been able to develop here in the last year.
How much has technology and innovation impacted what you guys are doing? I mean, because manufacturing, a lot of people don't look at it as very technical, but so much innovation has gone into polymers and robotics and artificial intelligence and the softwares and the lasers, and I don't think people understand how innovative and technical the manufacturing world can be. Talk to me about that innovation side.
It's all going that way, and it's been changing that way for a long time. These companies, we literally on any piece of equipment we manufacture, we can remotely link into that equipment. We can see what's going on with it. We can diagnose it if there's a problem. All off-site. We can do it from wherever that piece of equipment is, anywhere in the world. And so, and the companies that we do this stuff for, that's one of the big selling points. They all want to see it. They all want to see, that's what they want to be able to see. The CEOs, they want to be able to see what their equipment's doing. And if there's an issue, we can get right on and hook up with them. It's great.
Bob Donner with Freedom Manufacturing and Controls. Would you like a coffee from Roughneck Coffee?
Perfect, I would.
Jeff Zarling with Dawa. He's Roughneck Coffee. As we're doing our interview here, the Energy Exposition staff is coming by with some free coffee, so what the heck, we might as well have ourselves a cup of coffee while we do the interview here. No. So anybody hearing this interview, that's and what was your name? Mayland is giving us some coffee, and Champ. Okay, Champ. I love it. Champ, thank you guys. All right, back to the interview here. That was our intermission live on the air. You like that? That's the kind of stuff that happens in the oil and gas industry. I wanted to ask you about the crew change, the retirees that are happening. You're second generation. I spoke about this at the event that I spoke at last night, and it involved the retirees. About 5 years ago, a lot of the seasoned people were talking about, hey, by 2022, 2025, 70% of the industry is going to be retired. Well, then on the one hand, they're talking about the millennials coming in, and then I heard the term the big crew change or the big rig crew change, and I like that too. That's much better than my retiree way. So the crew change. Talk to me about this ideology shift, this whole shift that's happening, because our contention is that the retirement that's happening, there needs to be a respect for the business and the way it's been built and the connection with the land that needs to be maintained. And I don't know if that is going to happen like I think it might. Almost like there's a vetting process happening.
Right, exactly. But the development in this, you can't take the old school technology away from these guys. They're the core group of people. They really know how this all works. But it's the younger generation that's coming in, the crew change, as you would say it. They're the ones that are gonna come in with safer, more efficient, environmentally friendly ways, and they're the ones that have to make this all work. Otherwise, that industry is gonna starve.
So one of the things that we do on this program here is we honestly believe that the CEOs and the executives want to know what's going on at the well site. And that's why we do this, almost so it's like a funnel up and down, because the guys at the well site need to know what the CEOs and the executives are doing, and vice versa. And it's my opinion, I've covered a number of different industries. The symbiotic relationship between the employee and the owner and the executives and the underlings, if you will, it's such a mutual respect like I've never seen before in other industries. You spend a lot of time on the well site, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Talk to me about, am I out of line for saying that? Because I see it, but you're there day in and day out. Do they talk bad about the guys at the office, or is there at least a relationship?
No, you know what, I think, and that's coming with that crew change. You're seeing that crew change now, and I think there is a big respect there. We do what makes our company different a lot of times too. We do so much with the company on the sites, whether it's our training or repairing or whatever. We're on the location with these people, with the customers, and you see, like you said, right from the owners to the CEOs to the company men, to the rig hands, to the mechanics, the service guys. It doesn't really matter. They're all there for one reason, and that's to get the job done and make some money. And it all comes down to the dollar, and these companies, I think, they're really, versus 5 years ago when they would just hire anybody, to hiring more core people within the organization, and they develop that tight group, and so that respect is gained. We see it. They're surrounding them and hiring people that they're going to connect with, and that really makes their company, what it is.
How many different shale plays you in?
Pardon?
How many different shale plays are you guys in?
Oh, we're actually,
however you guys.
We're everywhere. We're pretty much nationwide and in Canada. So.
And where are you based out of?
The company is actually founded out of Texas.
Okay.
The manufacturing is in South Dakota. So the majority of all the technology and everything comes out of our South Dakota plant.
Okay. So kind of right in the middle of the United States,
Yep.
So you can go a lot of different ways.
Yep. The labor and workforce is pretty accessible around there. So.
Yeah. Well, there's pros and cons,
Yep.
that.
Exactly.
And,
Yep.
Okay, so how over the last, say, 10 years since the shale play, $100 oil downturn, where are you guys at? How long have you guys been around, first of all? You're second generation.
Right.
The company itself has been around for.
This is a new founded company. My partner and I found just 2 years now.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah. So it's very new, but prior to that, it's 25.
Yeah. So I was going to say.
Years,
so let's repackage this question. What did you learn that made you start a company 2 years ago? Because the downturn really scared a lot of people away from making new companies. Do you know what I mean by that?
Exactly.
So talk to me about the origin and the inception and the thought process, if you can.
When it comes to the manufacturing, you just can't put all your eggs in one basket anymore.
Right.
You can't do it, and especially when it's in the manufacturing, because during that downturn, literally manufacturing companies, they closed up. Yeah, they all went under. It was very hard. It went to non-existent on manufacturing. But now on this run here, you'll see it. You have to come in and give the customer, great service and product and all that stuff. But they want to be educated, and that's what's neat. So I think that our company, with educating, they educate us on what their wants are and needs. We build them for them and then educate them on how to run it. But it's not just that downturn was a good and bad in a way, I guess, because we learned squeeze a buck out of a penny type deal, where you really had to think out of the box, for a number of years, and now that we're seeing it, but it's different than what it was back then, because that ride went up to that $100 stuff. I don't think we're going to see that. We're going to see that ride go up, into that 70s, but I think it's just going to just bounce back and forth for a while in 50s and 70s and. Excuse me. And if we can provide, new developed equipment and technology with these companies, I think it's going to just continue on. We make so many different types of products. We're not just focused on one area. So it's really nice. You're not just manufacturing one thing and trying to sell it out, flood the market with just one product. So if one item's slow, you're moving another item. So.
Yeah. How about when it comes to just business in general? We've seen a change happening, and I don't know if you comment much on some of the political stuff that's been going on. And we don't get into politics here, but it's gotten to the point to where, like I said in my thing last night, states are starting to put major restrictions to where it's called a ban. And are you guys getting involved with that? Are you witnessing it? Do you got a comment on it? I guess
politically, you don't have a choice. You're thrown into it. I mean, if you're working in this industry, you're politically involved.
Well, and this is honestly, I think it's beyond politics because it's reality, and it's just like talking about whether the cell phone works or not. It's companies are having to reassess. Yeah. A lot of things.
Exactly. I think there's just, a new group of politicians or people that are probably not educated enough on what's going on in the world. Maybe I'm not saying it right, but I think that there's just, we're all, no matter what you do, you got to look around, and it involves oil industry. Right down to the grain prices. So to take it all away, it's going to be pretty tough.
I know we've been saying in this program for a while that in the 90s when I grew up, flipping on the light switch and energy wasn't political, and now it's gotten very political. That's too bad because I think a lot of people should probably take a step back and realize where their energy does come from. And the oil and gas industry, you're second generation, so I'd love to know your opinion on this. 7 years ago, when we really started tackling this issue, the energy companies were pretty upfront saying, no, we believe in an all-the-above policy. If the market's there, we'll go there. If this market's there, we'll go there. What are your thoughts on that in terms of, does the average person really take advantage of energy to the point to where we call it like doing dishes? It's like chores, eventually you got to figure out how to make dishes fun. You got it, because you start taking advantage of things so much, and it starts being part of your daily life that you don't realize how important it is.
It's too bad this day and age. People talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. It just comes down to that. It really does. I mean, if we've seen it, for a while now, and there is some good about this, when it comes to the practices of the oil companies and stuff. I mean, environmentally, I feel that they've made major changes, for the better, on the processes, on what they're doing and stuff. So, on that side of it, I think it's definitely a plus.
I like that story too, because we've been telling that the oil industry, like every industry, doesn't bat 100%. They don't. But here's the thing that they do.
Nor does any industry.
I was going to say, no other industry does. But the thing that they do very well is they correct their mistakes, and then they go into other areas and make sure those mistakes don't happen again. Or a lot of provisions are put in so those mistakes don't happen again. For example, we're bringing a lot of our regulations into third world countries.
Yeah.
And when you think about how that is impacting the environment, that's a great story for the oil and gas industry to, actually say, hey, we're helping the environment out daily in other countries and everything. And anyway,
we're in all sectors, in the region. So they all do it differently. Each area does it differently. It's just amazing. And out east, the practices that they're doing, I think it's a trickle down. Because they're impacted so quickly because they're drilling in the mountains and beautiful areas and stuff like that. So they really are very, very conscious on the environment. And I think it all started out there, and it migrating this way. And I think that. The proof is in the pudding. Mm-hmm. It really is. I mean, they are making great strides. It's just all you hear is the bad stuff. You don't hear the stuff that they're working on a day-to-day, minute-to-minute, second-to-second.
Bob Donner with Freedom Manufacturing and Controls. All right, we're wrapping up the interview here at the Energy Expo Symposium in Gillette, Wyoming, and couple things I like to do is I like to give guests the final word, so that way if we missed anything or they need to reiterate anything or they want to go a whole new direction, they can do that too. But before we do that, just kind of briefly summarize, give yourself a nice elevator pitch commercial for those people listening so I can package it later if I need to, type of a thing in terms of a nice sound bite. But you know what I mean, where not War and Peace, but also not a 5-second deal. Somewhere, it just explains people what you guys do, a nice summary of your company.
You know what? Like I was saying earlier, over the past 16 months, we've done so much R&D for the customers and everything to figure out their wants and needs, and so much, boots on the ground. You'd say that we've developed these products, for the customers to advance to their customers, safety-wise, efficiency, to that aspect. So we're ready to. We're ready to explode. It's an industry that we're excited about. Me and my partner, we've worked in it for quite a number of years now. So, and we've seen the ups, seen the downs, and we're just excited about getting it out and a lot of our, we have industry firsts on so many things right now. So it's patented items and industry first, whether it's electronics or remotes or actually mechanical structural products. So it's a great time to be out there.
Bob Donner, thank you much.
Thank
Freedom
you.
Manufacturing and Controls.
You bet. Thanks.